Hey guys, welcome back with us at 100% Manusia Film Festival, and today with our session di 100% Stay at the Home. Kalau kemarin kita udah ngobrol sama teman kita di Netherlands, hari ini juga kita akan ngobrol barengan sama Movie That Matters di Netherlands. Mungkin aku bisa coba invite langsung. Sebentar ya.
Hello.
Halo Mark.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Your video has not been
Oh
shown.
yeah. Yeah?
Hi.
Yeah. It's okay, the background like this?
Yeah, sure, it's okay. Could you hear my
Okay.
voice? Is it clear?
Perfect. Perfectly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I just opening up the session for today.
Yep.
Well, actually, this will be our fourth session in English and internationally since at first we are holding a session with Lisabona at German, and then we're going to the India with Kashish Film Festival, and last one with Queer and Immigrant Film Festival in the Netherlands also. So, and today with you with Movie That Matter.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah, so the reason why we are holding the session on Instagram live actually is because we are not able to do the offline screening or events due to the pandemic actually.
Yeah.
So without further ado, maybe we could start. So today, guys, we're going live with Movie That Matters with Margje the Koning, the artistic director of Movie That Matters Festival. So maybe you could introduce yourself a bit. What would you do actually at the Movies That Matter Film Festival, and what is actually the artistic director do for your desk job for that?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. That's a very complicated question. That's the first question. Of course, there's so much you do. I'm only the artistic director since September last year. And before that, I was a documentary filmmaker and a commissioning editor at the public broadcasters in the Netherlands. And I always had a dream to work for human rights festivals because I've always been involved with social issue human rights. Yeah. And Movies That Matter is a festival where you have feature films and documentaries. So I really think the combination is very fascinating, interesting, and sometimes in human rights issues you cannot tell things in documentary, but you are able to tell them within drama because sometimes issues are so sensitive. And so I was very, very proud and honored to be appointed as the new
artistic director.
So bringing me to the question, what does an artistic director do? It's a job that is on many fields. Of course, for first and foremost, we want to bring together a fantastic program for our festival. Mm-hmm. In our case, it means between 80 and 90 films. Let's say 35% is fiction and 60 to 65% is documentary. And we have a shorts program, which actually this year we want to extend a bit. Also due to COVID, we think there will be more short films than only feature films, feature films length. That's what we do. We do side programs during the festival. Of course, we try to invite very important people to us, which doesn't mean well-known people, but people who really work in the human rights field or make films in that area. So we try to invite professionals and some special guests, like for instance, although the festival fell through due to the whole COVID-19, Roger Ross Williams, Afro-American filmmaker from the United States by the documentary world, very well known, and he's having now this VR, which is called Traveling While Black, which is a huge success, which would have been in our festival as well. Throughout the year, we do events, we do a lot on international support, we'll come to that later, and education as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very varied job. It's many tasks.
Yeah, so to in 2021 it will be your 75th actually, the Movie That Matters Festival.
Yeah, it will be. Well, we were first for a few years in Amsterdam, and then we moved to the Hague, and it will be our 14th edition, right? Yes, and we moved to the Hague because, as you might know, it's a city of international peace and justice, and our government is there. And due to the fact that we very often have activists and so on coming to our festivals, then we can link them together. But maybe we'll get to that later.
Okay.
When I show a trailer on what we do with activists. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I could show your presentation a bit.
Yeah, the festival trailer would be really nice to see, so you get an impression of what sort of film we're having.
So
Great.
I will show the trailer for the Movie That Matters Festival first.
Yes, brilliant.
Just wait a moment. I'm gonna show the trailer first, and then the activist video.
Yeah, I can talk maybe a little bit, reflect on the trailer of the festival, and after that the activist trailer. I'll introduce that. Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So for the audience today on our Instagram Live, I'm going to show you the trailer for Movie That Matters Festival. Okay, here we go.
It's always challenging.
Yeah. So that's actually the trailer for your festival. So maybe I would like to ask a bit, how many films did you actually screen during your festival?
Normally we would have screened nearly 90 films now, but that's including obviously also short films. And we have a lot of categories. We have new films, we have festival favorites, we have films chosen by the audience, the best of last year. We have a program where 5 sort of, let's say, prominent national, international people choose their favorite film and introduce them. We have, as I said, we have a short program. We have fantastic. We have on the move. We have quite a few different themes to that. So yeah, but in total, nearly 80 to 90.
So it's not. Do you screen feature film as well?
Yes, yes, for sure. The film which just came out, Moffie. I mean, anyway, it's in the Netherlands. It's the film we would have shown, and quite a few feature films as well, for sure. Yeah.
But the main issue is actually human rights issue, right? Or
right.
So maybe the things that we would like to know as well is how do you create the program itself to year to year to year into year, since this is for ourselves 100% Manusia Film Festival is our 3rd year. The first one is about diversity and then resilience, and this year will be courage. And how would you do that in Movie That Matters?
Yes, what we do it slightly different. I don't know how many films you at the moment would program, but we do human rights issues, social issues close by the Netherlands and really far away, and we try to construct them around themes. And every year we discuss the themes. Sometimes it's on women's rights, so we make a session on women's rights. We make a section on, for instance, on the move, which means films more on refugees and so on. We do films on Earth, let's say Earth Matters, so films on the environment. What are people encountering with the whole environment issue? And so we did one year extreme democracies on the right wing seems to be moving more last year, for instance, because it's the 75th year anniversary of the Second World War. So we choose some films on the Second World War, and we tend to now, like at the moment, I'm scouting in the Sarajevo Film Festival, in the Toronto Film Festival, and so on. And you look around what's happening in the world, and then you combine that with the films you see, and that's how you choose. But it will always be on human rights issues, but it could be stretched a bit. It's not like only hardcore. It could be different sort of human rights issues. Yeah.
Actually, I already watched the trailer for your activist session, and there's a lot of questions that I would like to ask actually regarding to that.
Okay, so yeah, you want to show that now, or me to introduce?
Maybe later. It's okay.
Yeah.
So there are actually other questions that from our followers. Will we able to submit our films to the Movie That Matters Festival as well?
Absolutely, we welcome you. Absolutely, if you go to our website, you can apply. And this is a very international festival. So to be really, we obviously have a Dutch competitions. There are always 6 to 8 films, and nearly all the rest is from all over the world. So we'll be very happy welcoming films from Indonesia for sure. There's no doubts, and it could be short or longer films. But we have 2 rules. They can't be on Dutch television. Well, that's not happening that often when the film is finished, and it should not be in a cinema release also in the Netherlands. So we want in that respect to have the first. Right, but even if it's been on IDVA or the International Rotterdam Film Festival, that for us is no problem. We'd like to have some premieres, but it's not a rule. So no, but it has to be from 2020. That's our rule.
Yeah. Is there any Indonesian films that you already submitted to your festival before?
By Oppenheim made The Act of Killing. We showed some years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I should go back in the catalog. I'm so sorry if there was an Indonesian filmmaker. I know films on Indonesia for sure. I'm not completely sure if it was Indonesian filmmakers, but I would really encourage that. I would really encourage Indonesian filmmakers if they go through our catalog and see if you think like in a way it can, and if not, then we reply and explain why we could not put a film on our program for sure.
Oh, okay. So maybe I want to talk about the Movie That Matters Festival as well, since it's already been going for years. How do the festival itself bring impact to the society itself, or to the government, politics, etc., from films to policy? How it happens in the Netherlands or in your festival itself?
Well, we have a few measures within the festival and outside of the festival. What we do, we have one program, and we will see the trailer in a little bit. And then we have 8 films, and all the 8 is called the Activist Program. And all the 8 activists, there are films on activists from all over the world, from the Philippines to Mexico to Colombia to close by to Canada to Nigeria, if I'm right. So there are many different countries. And what we do, we make a tailor-made program, let's say a menu, for the activists and the filmmakers, for the team. So they have, on the first day, they have speed dates with NGOs, politicians, funds, anyone we think that they can help their case. And then after that, we make a whole program for them. And we do in our festival as well industry days on impact, and they attend those as well. And there are other NGOs and influential people who could maybe help their cause. We also had last year a meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, so that's a really important meeting because he can address things. And to give you, for instance, one example how it once worked not so long ago, it was actually not this year but the year before. It's about a documentary called Pathway to Peace, made in Colombia. and it was on the peacemaking between the FARC and villagers. I won't get into it because it's get too complicated then, but the activist was really threatened. Here in the Netherlands, in The Hague, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs saw the film, and then they made contact with the embassy in Bogota, and in the end with PAX together, they helped them to create a program, a peace program, which really works. So it does have influence. And what we also have is we choose films for the embassies of the Netherlands in more than 70 countries. So the embassies in all the different continents see our films, and that obviously brings up questions and so on, and sometimes issues that they say we should help the cause of this film. So there's a huge impact on films, huge. Maybe, and that's why we're in The Hague as well. That's why we are in The Hague because then we're really close by. They can quickly over lunch come and see films. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Maybe I would like to. Maybe you could elaborate more about a little bit of background stories. I mean, this is our third year from 100% Manusia Film Festival. During your early years, how did the society and the media react to your festival itself? I mean, we're talking about human rights, so it's actually sensitive issues for some. So how in the early years the media and the society react to the festival itself?
Within the Netherlands, where we are, I would say we are lucky because we have quite a good democracy and so on, and everybody's very aware that we are in a rather seeing it worldwide in a good position. So I think Dutch audience, Dutch politicians, NGOs and so on really embrace the festival and always have done, because there's no doubt for anyone that to doubt the importance of the film festival and human rights. Having said that, it is important to also what we are doing, searching, hunting, whatever you want to call it, for films which some are depressive, some are you get down, but also to see and find some uplifting films where you still address really strong human rights issues and so on. So especially in feature films, you can stretch that, and that helps to widen the audience, because otherwise you get in the beginning you could get only people who are really all in the human rights area anyway, and you obviously want to open up. So that's what we're really trying to do, to open up to a bigger public. And then you have to find films which maybe start in terms of storytelling a little bit lower, and then tell those that content. So but that's a lot. That's a way of working hard. Anyway, go ahead.
So you said before that some films are a little bit depressive, but it's the truth. They are saying
absolutely
films.
I don't mind it at all. I always say people, that's just life itself. But still you can. This morning, for instance, I saw a film from Sarajevo now online, and it's a harsh film on child abuse, but it's beautifully made and it will resonate to a lot of people, and I agree completely. And I think what we're doing is because, and that's been from the beginning, doing a really, really strong Q&A afterwards. So for people, that's really interesting, and that's why people come to that. They can see, up until COVID, the filmmaker with some very interesting people talking about the topic. So you see the film, but due to the fact that you have a good Q&A afterwards where you can ask questions and maybe you can do something or contribute or something, people are finding that very engaging, become very engaged, and contribute.
Okay. So I don't know, maybe we could share the trailer for your activist session, since I do have a little bit question actually regarding to the trailer. Actually regarding to the films that are shown in the trailer. So it will be okay if I show it
if you show it now? Sure. It's a bit longer because we really introduce all the different activists. Sure.
So for the audience today, I'm going to show a little bit trailer for the activist session on Movie That Matters. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna show it now.
villages of Palestinians being loaded into trucks and deported. I really don't want to be that soldier. Because the army is such a powerful thing in the Israeli society, refusing is the way to make people hear me.
Nuestra laguna azul, los ingenieros lo van a secar y lo van a conservar para un botadero. Si Conga queda acá va a destruir la tierra, los cerros, las aguas, las lagunas. Seguiré luchando.
I love this country, but I feel more and more angry day by day. I want the new album to show people the truth about what's going on in Vietnam.
I'm a director of theater, so the project that I want to bring here is a women empowerment project. Tell those people sitting out there what it is that you are feeling now. Tell them. That's it.
Nosotros como pueblos indígenas queremos estar bien con la naturaleza, queremos seguir, pues ha habido asesinatos de los mismos defensores de los pueblos indígenas que defienden el bosque. Estoy conociendo un poquito de derechos de los pueblos indígenas, cómo puedo defenderme, cómo puedo defender a la comunidad.
En 他们给我输了那种血，就那带有艾滋病的血。以前怎样去给病友做的我还做，而且我们却没有受到任何的保障，没有受到任何的保护，所以好多人都被这个打压下去了。
I was born poor, I grew up poor. I want better for my country, a country where everyone has a decent shot in life. I can't stand the hypocrisy.
We as Kenyans must rise up and use common sense. And so we are asking for a ballot revolution.
There certainly has been a breakdown of our way of life. The onus is now on us as youth to revitalize that relationship that we have with our culture, language, traditions, and our environment. We want to protect what we have left.
Yeah, guys, so that's the trailer for the activist session. Anyway, if the audience want to ask something to Mrs. Margje herself, you could actually ask away. So the thing is, once I already watched the trailer for the activist session, I mean, you bring up a lot of issues in there. Their war, their politics, their environments, or women empowerment and issues. But the things that intriguing at first for me is, I mean, you are discussing something that are related to other business. I mean, a company like a big company while talking about the environment. So, how does I mean, is there any what is it called? Some kind of like rejections, or is there any issues occur while screening the films? I mean, in Indonesia as well, there are documentaries of course regarding to some issues, especially in environments. I mean, we are going to talk about some big companies, and then there are some like rejection. So how does it impact to your festival itself, or do you have any support from law organization, or how could you do that? I mean, at the beginning of the trailer itself, that you are with the Amnesty International, so maybe that's what I would like to talk about, is how the big companies sees the films and the film screened while they're talking about their company. I mean,
Yeah, no, I understand completely what you're saying. And in my former job, we had to deal with that a lot as well. In the Netherlands, that is talking about freedom of speech, that there supposed to be no censorship, that a film festival could be showing what it wants to show. And where while these films are made very often, and that's for the filmmakers who are listening today, there's from the Bertha Fund in England, the Doc Society, who is really helping on the legal issue side of a documentary when big companies are taken on, like in Maxima, for sure that is. And within Amnesty International, Maxima is a known activist, so they support her, and that's why they're very reliable partner for us on this, to work together on these issues. And sure, so it's never been dangerous in the Netherlands to show, but making the films have been dangerous. And sometimes, of course, showing the films in Mexico in this case will be harder to do so. Yeah. But then, what our opinion is, I think with many other countries who can do this, when we all show the film and address the issue of the film, the pressure becomes more and more higher for the companies to react or do something. You know, when there's not made that documentary on this issue, for instance, with the support from outside of Mexico in this one particular case, or in another case, or in Colombia, the film in Colombia was made with a Dutch money, the international pressure becomes higher and higher, and it's more difficult for these international companies to speak up in a way that when they know there's something illegal going on. So it's the international pressure, I think.
Yeah, so it does still happen with a big festival like yours as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we have to be sensitive, and we have to be aware. Before we start the festival, we make a whole balance of films. We call them high-risk films, so that we inform the police about what sort of films we're having, and if there could be something political happening around that film, for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not for that reason. We are quite firm in showing the films of the cases we think are really important to be shown in terms of human rights. But for definite, there's quite often there is an insecure part on the point of security and censorship, for sure.
Yeah. So
but don't run away from that. We don't run away, basically.
Yeah, sure. So the things that from the trailer shown before, most of the stories are about women. So has women still becoming an issues in the Netherlands also? I mean, in Indonesia, woman is an issue. I mean, sometimes women are still second-class citizens in here. But I mean, since you are bringing that up in your festival for the activization, I mean, is women still becoming issues?
I think, to be really honest with you, within the Netherlands, I think it's nearly equal, nearly equal. And the women issues we are seeing or want to pay attention to are most of the time not happening within the Netherlands. But we think it's very important that we support women issues all around the world, and bring them to our audience and to our politics and NGOs and to the embassies in the different countries in order to help women rights, basically, and LGBT plus rights and more. I mean, we have a big LGBT plus section for now.
Oh, okay.
As well. Yeah.
So maybe I'm going to ask you about your program a bit. I'm going to show you the presentation a bit. There's something that I would like to ask. You do have 4 sections for education, the festival, the events, and the international support. What I would like to know actually is about the education platform. So what is actually the education platform do in your festival?
During the festival, we get over 7,000 students and pupils coming to our festival, and for students, pupils, what you want to call them, between the age of 16, 17, we have films and then a whole debate. We play a little bit of the parliament in our own right within the festival to talk about human rights issues, and we get a lot of schools, kids from the age of 15, 16, somewhere around that, and we do extended Q&As. And actually, within the Netherlands, we reach nearly 170, 180,000 children. So we go to the different schools, and on other festivals, we organize viewings with extended Q&As on different issues. And that's a very, very strong program. And that's huge. Yeah. It's really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also tour on tour. Is it one of your programs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I watch it. I saw it on your website actually. So what does the tour implies for the movie that matters?
What on tour does is we choose, let's say, 8 films per year, per season, basically from October till May, and in 1 month, 1 film tours all around the Netherlands, and in every city where it's in the cinema, the local Amnesty International groups make an extended Q&A. So it's really to bring a small part of our program to the whole of Netherlands and let them have the, let's say, movies that matter experience with the extended Q&As. So we select 8 films, and they each of one tours a month through the Netherlands and go to around 17 different cinemas.
Okay. So there's
mostly film houses, cinemas. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a question actually from our Instagram followers. Is there any restriction on what kind of issues bringing to the children? I mean, in the festival, I guess, if I'm correct. So, any specific issues?
I wouldn't go dive into which issues, but it has to be issues that resonate for children nowadays, which make them think, which is also, we always try to find films where there is a little bit of hope as well. No, there's not a restriction. It could be on any issue, to be really honest, as long, and it's maybe nice to say that we also do for younger kids. We have a program called Just Kids, and if you it's only 50-minute documentaries, and they are for like 12-year-olds, and they really have beautiful small documentaries from literally all over the world. It's about the surf kids in Bangladesh who want to become the best surfer, but in the meanwhile has to work at the beach. It could be many different, on environment, on poverty, on whatever. No restrictions.
Okay. So as you mentioned,
how it's made. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, as you
mentioned, it's very much, of course, that how it's made, that children can relate to the film and can learn a few things, find hope, give them comfort. On that level, we're searching. Yeah, and there's a huge educational program to that.
Okay. So as you mentioned before, there's also a Q&A session for after the screening. So for us to dig deeper, I guess, to the issues that brought up within the movies. Well, actually, it's what we've done also at the 100% Manusia Film Festival. I mean, for after each and every single screening, screening, we will hold a Q&A session for us to talk about the issues as well. So within the Movie That Matter Festival, I mean, you do that also? For each and every screening.
Yeah, not every screening, but most of the screenings, and with the filmmaker, preferably, if possible, or a person or one of the persons who are in the film, and we try to then get people from the Netherlands or maybe England or Belgium who can also contribute to an in-depth conversation on the issue.
Okay. So I don't know, maybe. I mean, we are going to have our festival this year. I mean, is it possible that we could do a session with you maybe through online with Movie That Matters?
Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
There's no problem in that. There's no problem in that. After you, I'm going to Sarajevo, and I've just been in Bogota online, so there's no worries about that. For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
you will be.
Or somebody from my team. They're all very good. They're all very good and yeah, they can all moderate really well, or be a panel member. There's no worries on that level.
Yeah,
of course.
You will be
more
great.
than happy. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so maybe I'm going to ask for the audience from our Instagram. If you do have any question they would like to ask, just ask away while Margje is here. So beside of that, I'm going to ask for the international support, the program, one of your programs. I mean, what does the support given to the other organization? I mean, I've read it on your website also. So if you guys, the audience, are curious about what Movie That Matters, just go to their website. I mean, they do have all of it within their website. I've checked it out. So maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about the international support.
Yeah, the international support is obviously from our own budget, but also we work together. We collaborate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on this, and we're trying to get always more funds to help us. And what we're doing, like other festivals are having pitching sessions, and then they give money to a film and a filmmaker to get the film, the realization of the film. And what we're doing, we're supporting over 20 film festivals or more. No, far more, I think, internationally around the world. So we give money, so to speak. You can apply for that fund, and if you want to set up a human rights film festival, even if it's mobile cinema or whatever form can be done in your specific country, we look at all the applications and we choose some. Like we just did, like we had something like 70, I think, and we choose about 15 or so, and then we support you financially to that you'll be able to have your festival. And what we also do is called the Beyond Borders workshop. For instance, two of my really good colleagues, Julie and Eric, they are tomorrow they're doing a 3-day workshop in the Sarajevo Film Festival, and then they get from that region people who want to start their own human rights film festival or have one and want to get more skills. They are giving a workshop. And also, if you go to our website, we not with One World in Prague and some other film human rights film festivals, we made a whole guidebook, and it's now in a few languages, which is really great to go through and get inspired about how you could shape your own film festival. And we're there to support financially, for sure. But then in that respect, we're the only one within the Netherlands, for sure. There's no other film festival who's in that respect supporting other human rights film festivals. Yeah, so it's quite unique.
Yeah, so it's
and very special.
Applicable for all countries, not only in the Netherlands.
Yeah, anyone can apply. And there's and it's also good to look at there's a human rights film festival network. Are you familiar with that? Yeah. So you're part of, and that's really great to watch as well. So we're very much there also for the other festivals.
Yeah. So
to help us.
Guys, don't forget to go to their website, moviethatmatters.nl, NL as in Netherlands, right? Just go look at their website and you could find any information that you could get in there. So there's no actually question. I mean, some of questions already been answered before, but maybe you could give us, I mean, the situation between Indonesia and Netherlands, I guess it's not a little bit different while we're talking about human rights issues. I mean, is it issues that happens everywhere, and it's still going on until today. So maybe you could give us a little bit, what's it called, like tips or trick on how you do creating the program within your festival that we can actually imply, or we could actually learn from the festival, or to the followers who are actually having their own festival or creating a movie, something just like some tips maybe?
Yeah, I would like to say a few things. One is obviously, if you're for the filmmakers and the producers in the house, I think it's a very simple tip, but go and you can all find it nowadays online. Go to the programs of other film festivals which you admire, or something to like, and see what kind of films do they have, what kind of issues are they tackling, how far do they dare to go, what is important to them. I think that's really, really important to do. I think for the filmmakers, like what I'm doing, I go to pitching sessions, I go to rough cut sessions, see if you can get into those kind of programs. That's where we, the festival directors, are scouting films. That's a very important one. And I can imagine that some filmmakers listening now are doing pretty high-end human rights issues, which could be at risk. So we are setting up with IDFA and IVFR and other film festivals a Filmmakers at Risk platform. So if you are making a film which could be really vulnerable or very at risk, so to speak, be aware that we also, from Human Rights Film Network, we've just been supporting somebody, I think with Russia, if I'm right. I'm not completely sure. So when filmmakers are at risk, then the whole international community, so to speak, will help that person to be able to make that film. So once you're maybe becoming that situation, make sure. And we do the whole administration of the Human Rights Film Network. Make sure you drop us a line, and we can see what we can do to help you. So in that respect, we have a lot of knowledge. So use, in a good sense of the word, you can always come to us and ask questions, and where we can support you or help you. And another thing I would like to address, going back to the activists, what we do as well, once you've been in our program, you've had the week, it was all fantastic in The Hague or no, whatever, you go back, then we do an outreach program, because what we also have as a philosophy, that it's very important, the films you're making, it's fantastic, we show them in the Netherlands, or you show them in other film festivals, but also you want to show them in Indonesia, and you might need some extra budget for that in order to be able to show your film in different communities where it really would be fantastic to show. Then you can apply as well, once you're in you've been in our program, for an outreach program, and then we give you some support for that. And for instance, now in our last program, where we had the 8 activists, who are now, obviously everybody's in their home country, we're setting up some outreach with them, and helping them, thinking where could you, some have obviously fled their countries. One is in New York, the rock singers in New York, and I said there should be communities here or in LA where you can show the film. So we help also in the region or close to the region or in their communities to see the film. That's very important to us as well. So it's not that enclosed. We try to constantly open up.
Okay.
And so for your support, yeah, if that is helpful for the filmmakers and the producers listening, I hope.
Yeah. So all the information are accessible within your website. I mean, if you do need some support. Yeah. I mean, you do. Well, actually, by looking at your website, you do have a lot of section actually, like. A workshop in the international support, the education. You do have a teaching aid. Is it for the filmmakers or any communities are able to apply for the teaching aid?
The teaching aid, that's the educational department is as it is now shaped for Dutch children. So it's a Dutch program, if you mean that, and the whole educational thing. But it would maybe it would be an idea if there would be a demand from your side, like how do you set up a good educational program that we talk, and maybe we can do a workshop or something or whatever to help you or help give you information in order how you could reach younger people, because I think that's very, very important that we constantly go to the younger generation and through social media and different ways also try to reach them. That's very, very important, of course. And we're absolutely open to think if there would be a question in that direction to see if we could be of help, for sure. Okay. For sure.
So maybe this will be my last question. How does the festival, the movie that matters itself, during the pandemic now, due to the COVID pandemic? I mean, what are the obstacles? Are you still will be going on 2021? And then, is there any issues occur? I mean, well, we are in Indonesia. I mean, from our festival itself, we could not doing any offline events or screening right now, but we just still an online session like this. I mean, how about the situation itself in the Netherlands?
Well, the situation when we had our festival completely ready, and literally a week before we had the lockdown, so then we very quickly moved a bit of the program, like 18 films we could put online, because a lot of films due to rights and all the rest of it was not possible. But that was great, we could at least do that. And we kept the juries, which was quite important for the films. I could tell later on that it's a bit of a hassle from all over the world, but try as much as you can. We only were thinking of what can we do for the audience and the filmmakers. So what we did, we had long interviews with the filmmakers for the audience. If you want the background on the film, we interviewed the filmmakers by Skype, and we edited that and put it on our website. And we had the juries that went ahead. We didn't get to do the industry at that time. We would do that now. And what we're estimating on that we will be hybrid this year. There will be hopefully we can do some things offline, and that we do have audience in the cinema and you or whoever on Skype, and have a Q&A like that. I just did it with our opening film. Last Thursday we had the film called based in South Africa, a small place called Pomfret. We had the premiere in a big cinema where normally there are 400 people, but now 100. And we had the film, the producer and the film, and a filmmaker from South Africa on Zoom, on the big screen, and people could live ask questions to them, and that sort of worked. But it will be hybrid because the situation, especially where I live in downtown Amsterdam, it's going a little bit the wrong direction at the moment. It's getting a little bit worse now, so we don't know. And I don't think in March a lot of people from the States and so on will travel yet, and hopefully from Asia can travel, but we don't know. So what we're doing as well with some other Dutch festivals, and I would really see if you can maybe team up with other festivals in terms of to create a big platform where you can do everything, to create a platform like CPH Dogs did and now Sarajevo is doing. You go to one platform, you can see a film, you can go to a Q&A, you can go to the professional site and so on. And I've been moderating quite a lot online now in Canada at Hot Dogs, and in La Rochelle, sunny side of the dogs, and in Tel Aviv at GoPro. And I must say, we're all getting better and better at it, because we know this is the only way we can communicate. And then people really seems to do. I even hosted video lounges that were like 30 people in the room, and still we could connect and exchange information, thoughts, situations, how filmmakers are dealing with the whole COVID and so on. But you have to be prepared that it will stay online for some time. And I would encourage you from a festival point of view to see how much you can team up with other festivals only for the technical side using the platforms, and so that's what we're doing now in the Netherlands.
Okay. So there's actually one other question from the followers. What is the most challenging issues that you ever face as in the festival itself? Maybe you could share a bit.
Yeah, for me that's because it's only my first year. But what's the most challenging? I think the most challenging is to I know what's the most challenging. The most challenging is to bring together cinematic, graphic beauty, craftsmanship, filmmaking, and the content. When you make a film, let's give an example. When you make a film on an activist, and it's really, really Chimay, maybe it's possible to watch that film, in the one in China. You have to nearly film everything secretly, otherwise you're caught by police and you're done. And then still to try to make an interesting film, and we are also in a kindly way hunting for cinematographic films with beautiful deep camera work, sound, editing, etc. It's not very often that these two can meet. And it's not that the filmmaker is not good, but it's been so hard to film in certain situations. Even I have an example. There's one film, and it's celebrated quite a lot already, and we had it in our festival. It's called Softie. That film sort of combines cinematographic beauty in a way, very well told story about a very harsh subject. I mean, the family of the main character have to flee to LA, to the United States, later came back, and to film all that and bear in mind you're trying to make a great film. These two are so hard, and I think for us as a festival to find these films, it's very difficult. There's another film, in the end of the day, they went to ITVA, that's completely fine. But I just saw it in the cinema. I saw it already on the small screen, but also now in the cinema. And it's called Welcome to Chechnya, of the homophobia of Chechnya, and how lesbians and homosexuals really are threatened to death, basically, and flee the country, and then still make a film which is accessible to watch. That's very challenging. And that's why we are starting up now. I'm starting up now rough cut sessions, and I'm being a lot on other rough cut sessions in order to advise filmmakers how can you make the film that an international audience understand what's going on in your country. I mean, I know from the filmmaker's point of view, when you make in Indonesia a film on a very harsh subject, everybody in Indonesia knows the context of that subject. But I don't. So you have to bring me to that subject, to the intense, and that's a filmic side of it. And these two are sometimes harsh to combine. But if you can do that, you make the best films ever, honestly, and the most important ones. But that's it. So it's never on an issue, but it's how is it made, and how will it resonate on an international audience. And if you want that filmmakers in the house, keep that constantly in mind, that if you want to make it for an international audience, get international experts in to watch your film. And that's what I do a lot, and then help. Like if you cut the film a little bit to the montage a little bit different, it's more accessible, or it's better to follow, etc. But that's challenging, I must say, to get the best content and the best films together.
Okay, so well, actually, there's another question.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's just the question implies to the during the festival. Is there any question asked while doing the Q&A session in the movies, after the movie screening, or in any workshop that you do still remember?
Nah, there are so many questions being asked, which are incredible, because the magic is when you watch an intense film. I get goose pimples already. When you watch an intense film, and the filmmaker or the main character of the film is there, that's so impressive. I give one example. Everything Must Fall is a South African film on the student rising against the university fees, and they teamed up with the cleaners. So the front woman of the cleaners and one of the front women of the student uprising came. And nearly in the end of the film, the girl, the student, is hit by a rubber bullet in her back, and she can't walk for a while. And then she's back on track again. And she was in The Hague, and she came on stage, and people just stand up and applaud and couldn't say a thing. So that wasn't a question, but it was encouraging them so much for their cause. And I've seen that actually an older film called Five Broken Cameras about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. That's sort of the same thing. When it's not sometimes it's not about the questions, but it's about supporting each other and understanding to help, I suppose. Because I can't say one question, it's too difficult, but I think it's that what makes it so magical to meet. And that's now the sad thing, that we can't meet. We can meet, but we can't meet in person. I don't know who's asking this question. I'd love to see the face of that person. But that's the way it is now.
Yeah, so that's one of the magical things while you're doing film festival based on human rights issues. I mean, they are actually an impact that we could actually gain from just screening films by just having a discussion afterwards. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could actually don't know how small or how big, but it is still giving an impact. That's what
it always, you know, I've been making films, documentaries on social human rights issues for 12 years. I've been a commissioning editor for 15 years. I've been guiding over 250 films. So I've seen so many films. But every day I watch a film, every new film, I'm moved, I learn something. I always think this person has thrown this little stone. For this person, it's been 3-4 years of their lives to make that film. And it's up to us as the film festivals. We throw their stone, their beauty, their treasure in the water, and it wrinkles, and hopefully we reach many, many people. That's why we, I think, keep on doing this.
Yes, exactly. I'm agree with you. So I guess that would be the whole session with us today. Thank you so much, Margje, for joining us for the session today. We've learned a lot, not only about the festival that you already held, Movies That Matters, but also on the human rights issues and how films will bring impact to it. And
an amazing tool. Film is an amazing tool.
And do not forget, guys, if you do need support, any kind of support, you could always go to their website, moviethatmatters.nl. I mean, there's not only financial support, but as Margje has already mentioned, there are workshops that it could be done. Is it what you called to help you to provide?
It's for outreach. Outreach. Then you have to be selected on the festival, of course, for the festival. But do submit. People can always drop me a line by email or anything they like, or maybe if you see me on another festival, even if it's digital, reach out to me or to the team with questions or whatever. Of course.
Okay. So that's all, I guess, for today, Margje. We'll meet again, and let's hope that we could actually do an online session together while during the festival. So
brilliant.
thank you so much for joining with us.
Thank you.
I'll get back to you later on while we're doing the festival. So
Okay.
that's all. That's an honor for talking to you right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you so much. So
Okay,
Susan,
keep up the good work, everybody. Keep up the good work.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.